We're now joined again by our political reporter Samgela Masego, who will be joined by the Correctional and Justice Minister Ronald Lamola. Samgela, very good morning to you. Over to you.
Well, Senpiwa, at this point in time, we may not refer to him as the Minister of Correctional Services and Justice, but he is a National Executive Committee member of the ANC, and he is here on that official capacity. But we will throw in some questions relating to the issues of justice and the judiciary. Minister Lamola, ANC member Mr. Lamola, just on the start on official government issues. The Constitutional Court, the windows were broken into. As the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, what steps are you taking to make sure that the courts of this country, especially the Apex Court, is not subject to the attacks that we are currently seeing, especially with the burning of the National Assembly?
Yeah, obviously we condemn that with the contempt it deserves. It does not belong to any constitutional democracy. But we are pleased that the police acted promptly and arrested the individual on the spot and on the scene, and that the law is taking its course. So the institution already has police presence and necessary security. But obviously they need to be alert, because you will never know. Sometimes some people out of their actions do things that are out of the norm. But across the country, those institutions have to be protected with the security that is there, because those institutions are an important symbol for our constitutional democracy and the rule of law. So they are important also for the administration of justice, and that the courts functions without any fear, favor or prejudice.
When you look at issues relating to policy, you as the ANC have resolved on land expropriation without compensation. You've been spearheading that debate for the ANC. How will you make sure that Section 25 of the Constitution is amended to allow for land expropriation without compensation for ownership for individuals in South Africa rather than the states?
Yeah, obviously we have carried through that debate in Parliament, and it has reached its finality. And we could not agree. We have engaged with all political parties in Parliament, DA, PAC, ATM, everyone, to support the view that we had brought forward, which we believe was more sensible and reasonable in dealing with the land issue. But unfortunately, with the organization that we could find each other, the EFF, we could not agree and find each other on the model of expropriation without compensation. As you are aware, it's a long-standing position of the ANC that land ownership in this country must remain that the state must be able to own land for its use or to lease. Private individuals must remain with their title deeds, and even whoever may want to have it, and also must have security of tenure under communal land. So with the EFF model, that would not have happened. It meant that the land was going to be owned by the state, and that would have dispossessed all black South Africans, white South Africans, coloreds and Indians. So it was not a workable solution. So it was in fact going to cause serious problems for the country, because black people in the townships like Soweto, Kwamashu, and even here in Seshego, and many parts where they already have title deeds, even those that we have given title through restitution, and those that we have who have bought, black people who have bought land on their own, will have suddenly become tenants of the state. And that model is not what South Africans want, and it's not what also the Freedom Charter is demanded. Because the Freedom Charter said the land must be shared among those who need it, the land must go to the people. So that is the ANC position, that land must be distributed to the people. So we will proceed with the expropriation bill that is currently before Parliament, which will still achieve the objectives that were set in the National Conference of the ANC of expropriation without compensation.
You speak about the National Conference. We have seen Limpopo regions, the chairperson, the deputy chairperson, and Peter Mokaba regional chair saying your president must get a second term. John Mpe goes further to say there must be generational mix in the ANC, NEC, and also within the top six. What's the view for you as one of the youngest members of the NEC?
Indeed, the ANC does need renewal, and it does need to be shaken up in terms of infusing a new generation into the structures of the ANC, from the top six, the National Executive Committee, and across all the structures across the country. We we do have young, capable comrades that can swell the ranks of the organization, that can play an important role. So we agree that we do need that reinvigoration, because it is in the interest of renewal that we find a way to infuse that new generation. As you are aware, even the generation of Peter Mokaba that we were celebrating yesterday, and most of the comrades who are today in the NEC, it was a deliberate act in terms of the succession processes of the ANC to allow that infusion. And I do think that as we go towards the national conference, there must be an open discussion and an open debate about the caliber of leaders that will restore the confidence of South Africans on the African National Congress.
Are you available to be in the top 6?
I will respond at the right time, but I have always accepted responsibility when given by the structures of the ANC. And we will see how the process goes. It is up to the general membership of the ANC to decide who must lead the organization and how it must be led. But what obviously must inform this current process going to the national conference is whether we will be able to restore the ANC's trust with the people, restore the ANC's connection with the people of South Africa, and whatever we do must be for the best interest of the country. And we respond to those issues because it will not be helpful to have a structure, but not really taking into confidence, but also not really rebuilding the trust of society in the ANC. And the last local government elections are a clear example that we cannot continue with disunity and many other things that the society do not appreciate. Society wants to see us united, want to see us restoring the values of OR Tambo. They also want to see us dealing decisively with corruption and other issues of integrity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ronald Lamola. That was Ronald Lamola, NEC member and also Minister of Correctional Services and Justice. I am going to now bring